Yeah. Imagine if you had to eat that way. So, Scott, we're looking at some of those sea urchins.
Yeah, so some of those purple sea urchins. I think Otto actually has them with him.
I've got 3 of them. Have any of you guys ever held a sea urchin before? Well, if you haven't, today's your lucky day. So these do not bite, they don't sting, they hurt like you know what if you step on them. But that's a common misconception. You can handle them just fine. These are actually related to those sea stars Scott was just talking about. They're in the Pinoderm file, believe it or not. So if you were to take off all the spikes here and you just had the bare shell, you would see that it has radial symmetry, just like a sea star, right? 5 different sections that are all joined together. It does have a little mouth right on the bottom there. And these actually eat kelp. The kind of kelp they're hanging on to in front of the cave, they're the main predator of the kelp. So if you get an overpopulation of urchin, these can attack and hold fast to the kelp. They go right through the kelp forest. They'll chew through it, the kelp breaks off and it drifts away. And you get what's called an urchin barren. Okay, so if you were snorkeling and you look down beneath us, you would see thousands and thousands of these things. From the older guides who've been here a lot longer than I have, this area used to have a bigger kelp bed. And there were a couple of years where there were a lot more sea urchins than normal. They kind of came through, grazed off the kelp, and it hasn't really had a chance to recover since. So these guys are part of the ecosystem, but if it gets out of balance, it can become quite a nuisance. In fact, if you look through the clear water here, you can see the urchins.
Oh wow.
They're littered on the bottom. You want to take a look at it?
So why did they hurt if you step on them then?
Well, the spikes will break off just like little needles in your foot.
Okay.
Yeah, and they can actually become infected pretty easily. So I had a couple of urchin spines in the back of my knuckle from a lobster diving trip. My finger swelled up and I couldn't remove my ring for over a year. So even though your body will dissolve the calcium carbonate, when it gets in a joint like that, the inflammation will persist for a long time. So they can be real nasty little critters. Would anyone like to hold this and take a look at it? They're very beautiful actually. There's not a lot of bright color underwater out here, but these are one of the exceptions. Of course, the guy with gloves wants to hold it, right? Cheater. Have you guys ever had uni when you go to the sushi restaurants? Have anybody ever tried the urchin?
Yes.
You have? Who's a fan of the urchin? We got one. Who thinks it tastes like a giant snot rocket? I'm gonna kill myself right there. It's kind of an acquired taste. And what you're actually eating, guys, would be a red sea urchin, not these little purple ones. They're too small. But out here at the Channel Islands, the urchins that are feeding on the kelp, they can get very large. The red ones, about the size of a softball or a grapefruit, and they get a pretty high price for those in some of the international markets. Now, for those of you guys just kind of swirling around here in the cove, you are starting to get pushed up towards the rocks. You may want to be a little proactive. Sam's over there. You don't want to push yourself out away from these rocks. You guys, push forward a little bit facing over that time. You don't want to get flipped over because we know it's lurking on the bottom right here. Yeah, let's go back this way here. Current always pushes everything. It's not your fault. It's just how the island works.